Hi everyone, I'm Theresa V, and this is the place to be if you are a sensitive world changer who wants to feel more alive and live more on purpose in this beautiful world. Each month, I check in with our beloved archangels to see what advice they have for us in terms of navigating the energies of the world at that time. And this month, they're speaking with us about moving through change. Stay tuned. Before I even begin, it feels very necessary to express that the information shared by our angels in this video is in no way intended to minimize the experience that you are having. Rather, it is intended to help you to move through the experience with a little bit more ease and more grace. The angels know that it can be very difficult to be in human bodies at times, and their intention is to give us as many tools as they possibly can so that we can have the most grace-filled, loving, exciting experience on this planet. The first thing our beautiful angels want us to realize is that not all bodies move through change at the same rate. First of all, different beings move through things in different ways. We are encouraged to give each other the time and the space that it takes for us to move through our processes. Just because I move through something a certain way doesn't mean that you need to move through that same thing in the same way. We each have our own history in this lifetime and in lifetimes past. Our soul has its own history. We have our own lenses through which we look at the world. So the angels encourage us to remember that as we are trying to support each other through times of great change. They also want us to remember that it is okay if we're finding great difficulty in navigating a change that should be seen as positive. For example, becoming a new parent is a huge change, and the whole world says this should be a positive experience, but not all aspects of this experience are felt as positive. There can be things that you're moving through that you're not giving yourself the space to process because you feel like you're not feeling them correctly. I should be feeling happy. I should be feeling gratitude. Meanwhile, what you're feeling is exhaustion and the desire for sleep or to go back to your old life before you were feeling so tired. So the angels encourage us to honor what we're going through, to ask for support for what we're going through, because as much as we might feel terminally unique, we aren't. There are other people who have had similar experiences, and when we live in the shame of not expressing what we're truly feeling, of not giving ourselves the permission to feel those things or to share about them, that's when we get stuck in that energy for an even longer period of time, and that cycle of lack of expression and shame keeps perpetuating itself, and we start to really believe that there's something wrong with us, and we approach the world in that way. We approach the world from this deficit of energy, from this belief that we are less than. So the angels are encouraging us to realize that our process is our process, and the next person's process is theirs. We can support each other through those processes when we honor the difference in how we experience situations and how we move through change. The other aspect of this that's really important is to realize that within you, your different bodies move through change at different rates. So if you're bringing in a new form of meditation, your spiritual body might experience that change immediately, but it takes a little bit of time to process through your other bodies. It takes a little time for your mental body to accept that, okay, I can shut off, I can be quiet, this is a good thing that's happening, I'm not losing control, I'm just being asked to take a break. And then your physical body can eventually experience the effects of that meditative experience. You'll feel more physically calm. Your nervous system will relax. Just because we do something today doesn't mean we will experience the effects in every way at the same time. So give yourself the time to allow that change to move through. So this can be positive change, and this can also be a change that is difficult. The death of a loved one. It might take a little bit of time for it to work through all of the bodies. The physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies work through things at different rates. It's just the way it is. Just because we know that that person has gone on to a better place or to more peace, or at the very least to be released from this body that wasn't serving anymore. We know that intellectually, but it may take a little while for us to have the actual experience of letting go of the grief, of being in that place of peace with what just happened. And the idea of our spiritual practice is to bring those bodies closer, to raise the vibration of our physical body so it can get as close to the vibration of our spiritual body as possible. Each person walking this earth has all of their bodies moving through different things at different rates. Understanding that this is the way we are, and that where we're moving is to bring these bodies closer to functioning together as a whole. And this is why we talk about holistic view of people, because we need all of our bodies to move closer so that when change happens, it doesn't take as long to move through. Another thing that feels really important for us to honor at this point in time is that change takes time to integrate. We've all had this experience in one way or another. The angels are showing me over and over again how our community has gone through this. Where we experience a change, we don't give ourselves the time and the space to process through it. We expect to just be able to move on with our life as if it's just another day. Eventually, what happens if we don't willingly give our system the time that it needs to process through all of this new energy, through all of these emotions, it will take the time. And this is when we end up sick, injured, because we didn't give ourselves that time to process. We might even just need to rest for an extended period of time. So our angels are encouraging us at this point where we are in a more heart and soul led paradigm to lead with love in our own lives when there is change, whether it be small change or great change, personally or globally, to really give ourselves the time and the space to sit with it, to process it, and to allow our systems to move that energy through. It's so important. Our angels show us how we would give other people the time and the space to do this. We would encourage them to take the time and the space. We would be empathetic. Oh, I know how hard this is. I know how much you're going through. Please, please, please make time to rest. Make sure you're replenished. Do you need some soup? I'll make you some soup. We would hold that other person in the energy so that they could take the time, they could make the space, and they could move through their process of integrating this change. However, when it comes to ourselves, we very, very often do not have that same outlook. We expect ourselves to be machines. We'll just say, this is the change that's happening. I need to move forward. I need to go through this. I don't have the time to process this right now. We'll do this later. These are my responsibilities. These are the people I need to show up for. I have too much to do. And our angels are saying that is not leading with the heart. That is not loving ourselves. That is not caring for ourselves. It is time for us to love ourselves the way that we love other people, to create that space, to allow ourselves that time that we would encourage other people to take. One of the places that spiritually focused people often forget to look, one of our biggest tools that we forget about, is the power of moving our bodies, the power of moving our systems. And our angels really want us to understand how beautiful this is. Nothing moves energy like actually moving our bodies. And some of us are movement restricted. So we need to move how we can move. Maybe that's just your head. Maybe that's your hands. Whatever it is, changing your thoughts, changing the way energy is moving through your body involves intentionality and movement. It doesn't matter how you choose to move. It's up to you how you incorporate this. But our angels want us to remember that this tool of movement is so powerful. Energies very often get stuck. And when we are moving through great change, our go-to tools often have us being even more sedentary. Maybe we're sitting for meditation or a lot of prayer. These are great tools. Absolutely important for us to use the tools that we love and to use the tools that work for us. And in the face of that, also incorporating more movement. Maybe we're praying and walking at the same time. Maybe we're doing a walking meditation. Or maybe we're using all of those tools and then adding movement into the mix. We love to store energies in various places in our bodies. It is easy for us. It's a thing that we do automatically when we don't have the time and space to process. That energy goes somewhere. So we find an empty space in our body and we tuck that energy away, hoping that it just goes away or hoping that it'll just never resurface. This is never the case. So if we're in the experience, we might not feel like dancing because we might be in great grief, but maybe just taking a short walk, allowing that energy to flow through instead of getting lodged. That is our goal. Keeping the flow going. If we stop the flow in any area of our lives, that flow gets impacted in all areas of our lives. And we forget this. We don't realize this. And suddenly we'll realize, why is this aspect of my life so much harder than it used to be? Or why are relationships being affected? Energy flow that's stagnant in one area is stagnant in all areas. Our angels want us to remember all the time, but especially in times of great change, how much support there is for us, how much love we have available to us. And our angels can move things for us. They can help us. They can hold us. They can do whatever it is that we need in terms of assisting us, in terms of helping us to move through our process. All we have to do is invite them in and ask. They're always right here with you. Whether you believe in them or not, whether you utilize them or not, it doesn't matter. They're there with and for you all the time. And they are begging you, please let us help you. Things don't have to be as hard as you, not you personally necessarily, but as a collective, are making them. Let us do what we can to assist you in moving through your process so that the world can move through its process, so that universally energies can move faster than they've been moving. They can move with more ease, with more grace, and more flow than they've been moving. For a lot of light workers, for a lot of spiritually focused people, it has felt like there's so much change happening in the world, but that we are on treadmills at the same time. So we're doing all the work, we're running, and we're in place. We're not getting anywhere, but the world is changing and we're watching it. And our angels are saying, you are fueling that change. The running that you're doing is fueling all of that. And don't feel like you're responsible for like the negativity that you're seeing. That's not what they mean. What they mean is that you're fueling what's happening behind the scenes. You're fueling the energy of what's next. You're holding the vibration of light and of love so that things can come out into the open, so that they can move, so that all of the old energy, all of the stagnancy, all of the ways that humanity is seeking to move backwards instead of forwards, because it's what's known. When we can come from the compassion and remember that the ego seeks to keep us in what's known, because we survived it. No matter how bad it felt or how ugly it was, we survived it. So the ego knows, hey, I'm protecting you. We survived this. I know you'll be okay, most likely, if we go back to this. We don't know what's in the unknown. We can, in our hearts, know, but the ego doesn't necessarily know. And so as we are on our treadmills, as we are moving our energy, doing our practices, working on moving energy within ourselves, what we're doing is fueling that heart-centered paradigm, that view, that intentionality, that vision that we're holding and feeling of what the possibility is for what's next. And as that energy is held, the opposite energy of wanting to run back, wanting to hold on to things that no longer serve. It's just instinct. It's just the way we're built. The clutches on that can start to be released. People can start to settle into being less afraid of moving forward because they will start to feel the openness and the love energy of what the possibility is. Now, granted, every human being has their own perspective on what that looks like, on what's important to them. But the idea is the feeling. We all know what we want the world to feel like, so we need to stay there. And our angels can help us, each and every one of us, help us to move through our own places where we're stuck, all of the change that's happening in our own life, our own version of this. And as we do this for ourselves, we assist this opening universally, this letting go, this willingness to move with more ease and grace for each and every person that exists now, has ever existed, and will ever exist. That feels very complete from our angels for this month. If you would like to connect with your angels in an even deeper way, join us for the next Angel Transformation Hour, where the angels will share powerful messages for the entire group as a whole, and then take your questions, no matter how personal or how detailed, and they will answer them live. This gathering is completely donation-based, so you can donate as much or as little as feels good to you at this time. Tap the link in the description of this video or in the comments section below for more information or to save your seat for this greatly loving and life-changing call. I cannot wait to support you there. Thank you, as always, for being here, for watching these videos and leaving the comments that you leave, and for sharing them out far and wide with anyone and everyone that you feel could use these messages. The love of the angels can reach as far as we're willing to share it. Thank you also for sharing it so freely from your heart with the world and with each other. I look so forward to supporting you in our Angel Transformation Hour and in so many of the other ways that are coming up. Check the links for how to connect. So much love. Bye.